Look, I like coming into work. I gotta be honest.
Me too.
I enjoy people.
Yeah.
I enjoy cameras.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy doing a show like this on my computer once
No.
upon a time at
Gosh,
Sportsnet.
no,
Hated
no,
every
no.
second of
Me
it.
too. I did those. Oh, no, no
Nope.
bueno. No.
Almost left the business.
Yeah, well,
Almost left the business. I
honestly,
swear
Sid,
to
a lot
God.
of people did. It was,
Yep.
it was tough. And I mean, obviously, our industry not anywhere near hit as some of the others. But it was, yeah, that kind of not in work but doing work thing, not a fan.
No. However, a lot of people are. And despite the fact in January and February of 2020, when most people were going to work and it was still a thing, the philosophy has changed on that to the point where there's now a fight to stay home in regards to the other side of that, which is going into work. And it involves our federal employees, people working for our federal government. So the government is mandating a 3-day in-person work week for federal workers, which begins September 9th of this year, so basically when school goes back in. This is a statement from the Government of Canada website. This direction sets out the requirement for deputy heads to implement a minimum requirement of 3 days per week in the workplace for all public servants. For those departments that have not yet implemented a minimum of 3 days per week, full implementation is due September 9th. So the unions in question here are looking at this as basically the worst thing ever requested in the history of working in this country. This was the statement from the Canadian Association of Professional Employees. Quote, "This announcement is a disaster. We are shocked at this decision, which has been made in secret without consultation and with no valid reason given." End of that part of the statement. Again, that is from the president of the CAPE, Nathan Pryor. I think the statement's a bit much, Mayor.
Disaster is a big word.
What's your reaction
for
to
the
that?
description of that? Well, look, I mean, I think I'm probably in the minority. Maybe we both are in terms of people who work, who like to be at work. I know from a lot of my friends, girls and guys, that this is not really the ideal anymore. They've figured out a new balance. They've figured out a new way of being. They can be more effective. They can be more available to their family. It's a better flow at home. I've heard this over and over again. I remember seeing, though, Malcolm Gladwell, great author, Tipping Point, et cetera, writing about this sort of exodus from the office and how it will most affect younger people coming into the workforce because, you know, we've been in it. We have an awareness of what the meeting down the hall might be and talking and sort of bonding that way, mentoring and learning in that way. But when you are someone who's newly coming into the workforce, which hopefully, you know, there's a lot of people doing that these days, to have to navigate that alone at home is very challenging. And he says that we're going to see those effects, you know, 5-10 years from now. So the fact that this is being met with such resistance, especially for federal workers, I don't agree with that disaster descriptor at all.
I had to read it over 3 times because I thought they were asking them to go back 5 days a week. No, no, no.
3.
3. 3 days a week. Look, you know what a disaster is? Let's talk about the word disaster. A disaster is having to work 7 days at a grocery store in the middle of a pandemic when you're literally in the firing line, but we all need the place open. That's a disaster. That's not a shift anyone wants. Mm-hmm. I think the verbiage on this needs to be pulled back significantly because I don't think it's outrageous to ask people to go to the office 3 days a week. I understand people like staying home. I get that. But as of January and February 2020, this was a non-issue. Mm-hmm. So what's changed? What's changed is people are enjoying it, and I get it. But a disaster? We're at work today, and we're glad we're here.
Game 7.
It's 8 o'clock.
Now that was a disaster.
Yeah, that's what you're watching BT.